Let's give them a proper intro each. He is Ironhide and Barricade in the Transformers film series, Crash Bandicoot from the Crash Bandicoot video game series. He's been the longtime announcer from America's Funniest Home Videos. You've recently heard him as the Cowardly Lion from Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, and Grandpa from the History of Swear Words. We know and love him as Wakko.
Really?
He's also the lead singer of Rock Sugar. Please welcome to the playing screen here, the virtual stage, Jess Harnell.
Wait, I should be there. Can you see me? Am I there?
We can't see you, Jess. What happened?
I opened video. Oh, there I am.
There you go.
It was worth the wait, man. Here I am. Hi.
Jess, thank you so much. Great background, by the way. Is that all you and your band, or are those like idols of yours? Or
this is like a small portion of my life. I had to stop about 15 years ago. We're to cover the whole house, but yes, this is like the Sunset Strip band days behind me here. And Barry Rabbit, my first ever voice, he's showing up. So yes, there's.
Oh yeah, there we go. Nice. Oh man, I saw that recently. That you were like did everybody in the Splash Mountain ride, which is so cool. One of my favorite rides in Disney.
That's just not everybody in Hollywood, if you know.
Rob is already starting in. We haven't even got him on screen.
Don't let him out.
No, let's move on.
That was Tress. That was Tress, actually.
He is Egon in the real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters. He has many voices, including his infamous Orson Welles from The Critic, Kif Kroker, and so many others from Futurama. Mr. Freeze from the Arkham video game series. Most recently, you can hear him in Disenchantment, but we know him as the Brain. Please give it up for Maurice Lamarche.
There it is.
There he is.
I don't have quite the rogues gallery behind me, but everything's memento here. So there you go.
You've got some great, you've got some great art behind you.
I've got a
frames.
little Animaniacs art over there. There we go. I got to work like a dentist. There you go. Yeah. You got to do the opposite of what you think.
And what is that beautiful like gold thing over your left shoulder?
This gold thing here, this little thing.
Yeah,
this is only my latest Emmy nomination. That was for I got nominated for a daytime Emmy for a show called The Rocketeer, and I played a villain named Sylvester Slapdash. A true tribute to Charles Nelson Riley. And I had no idea. The show submitted me and I got nominated. So that was
so
awesome.
Really
kind of
cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Speak of the devil that has been chiming in the background there. He is not only Raphael, he was then Donatello from both the 1987 and 2012 animated series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He is the lovable Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, and its films. He is Spike in The Land Before Time. This, again, I'm barely scratching the surface here. Speaking of scratching and sniffing, he is Dr. Otto Scratch and Sniff. He is Wakko Warner. He is Pinky from Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain. Please welcome Rob Paulsen.
Hey, look at that. You see?
Why you?
Is this thing on? Maurice, are you there?
I'm ready. Here. I'm ready to.
I am so happy to be here with you, Mike, and all of you and the happy cartoon people. It just makes me happy to be able to talk like a funny cartoon man. So far away.
Foster Brooks lives on.
Yeah, no, but Jess, it was goldfish. It was goldfish, not
Fish.
As far as you know, it was goldfish.
It's the snack that my pal likes to pack.
My go-to meal when I'm having a little drink for lunch.
Those are the vodka soaked goldfish, right?
Yeah, they use it. Add water makes its own sauce, just like.
Well, this next.
This is supposed to be ad-free, Rob.
No, it's
It's
in the internet.
Let's
bring our sister
ad free.
Let's
completely
bring
ad-free.
the
And Nathan's
Warner
best stuff on
sister
Earth.
down here. Tress beforehand said it is going to be hard to not get all these folks to talk on this panel, and we already see it. Let's get Tress. She has been waiting patiently in the wings. She is Babs Bunny on Tiny Toon Adventures. She is the voice of Daisy Duck and Chip of Chip and Dale in the whole Disneyverse. She is Linda Mom and so many others on Futurama. Agnes Skinner and so many others on The Simpsons. Most recently, Queen Una in the Disenchantment series, which has a new season coming up. I know there's some Disenchantment crossover here. She is the Warner sister Dot, and hello, nurse, everybody. Please get up for Tress MacNeille.
Yeah.
It's the Virgin Tressa. Look at her. Look at that.
The miracle of Our Lady of Burbank.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
So good, so good.
This is so great. Hi, you guys.
Yeah.
Reunited, and it feels so good. I've missed you all.
Us too, buddy.
Bless it.
I know.
Well, and we've missed you. You know, it's been a long time since we've been able to do a big in-person convention. You know, and as a convention company, I know it's been tough on fans and artists and vendors. But this moment right here, getting you all together here, albeit digital, we have like over 500 people right now live just watching from across the
Hi,
world.
500 people.
And across, yeah.
Hello, my favorite 500 people in the world. How are you?
They're all here to see you right now. And so I speak on behalf of all the fans in the chat. I can't even follow it. It's going so fast with with people saying, I'm going to cry. This is making my day. I love you guys. May Hulu bless you from someone.
Hey, that chat's going by faster than the credits on a Comedy Central special.
Oh man, I'm fast and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to keep up with y'all. This is amazing. There's so many fan questions that not only are coming through live, but were submitted beforehand. So I just want to jump into this. We have a very limited time. This is for everybody. This comes from @Alexis_JLex. This question is for all of you. I just wanted to say thank you for making me smile and for being one of my biggest inspirations. I wanted to know, what was your first reaction when we were told the Animaniacs was coming back? I mean, we all grew up with it in the 90s, and then to have this come back, talk about that. Rob, I know you've been so just excited and appreciative of the opportunity to come back. Why don't you kick things off, and then we'll go around the room.
Well, in a word, indescribable. As we discussed, firstly, thank you for having us, Mike and Wizard World. This is such a privilege, and we all know it. This is such a unique experience. We've all had, knock wood, remarkable careers by any measure. Yes. But to be in a position where you get to do something like this again that has inspired joy now for at least 2 generations with the King of Hollywood and people who are your very best friends in the world, and that is the absolute truth. To do it again and have it turn out really well by any metric is overwhelming. Seriously, it just doesn't happen.
And, listen, Rob, I wouldn't, King of Hollywood, it's very generous. I would say I'm one of the lower princes.
I thought he was talking about about Johnny Grant.
Johnny Grant!
Of course he means Mr. Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg. You might have heard of him.
But it's in a word, I won't speak specifically for my brothers and sister, but it is indescribable because it's unprecedented, really. Yeah. And I don't think just in our specific careers, this whole experience for a show that's been gone a quarter of a century, or was started a quarter of a century ago, at this level with Mr. Spielberg and the original crew, or rather cast back together, the nuts and bolts, unprecedented. And to have it be a success, this is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Let's go to. Oh yeah, Maurice, you kind of chimed in a little bit. Go for it.
No, I was just going to say the success part is especially gratifying. We were talking before we came on. Business Insider did an article this week on the top 10 streaming shows over all streamers.
Who did it,
We
Mo?
have been on Business Insider, and we've been on. Sorry, not that's so dad of me to say on the air. We've been streamable since November 20th. We're coming up on 2 months that we've been available, and we are still in the top 10 of all streaming shows across all platforms.
That's
the number 7 show. After being available for 2 months, people just
only
keep streaming and watching the show. It's unbelievable. We're 37. I believe the article said we're 37 times more popular than the average show.
Then Johnny Grant.
We need Yogi Bear in here to say we're 37 times more popular than the average show, and we thank you, the people streaming our show, viewing it, on behalf of the 187 people who animate, write, do all the musicians, all of it. We thank you for that loyalty. I'm sorry, I only got 3 more days to do that impression, but anyway. Thank you so much for.
Thank you very much. You all get free tickets to the water tower.
For putting us 7th.
Unless you're arrested getting on the lot, in which case you're on your own. But fear not, because LA is full of lawyers. Have fun.
So how we felt, I'll jump in with that one because that was the original question, and we all needed to have a Ritalin dart shot into us. But except for Tress, she's the mom. I got a little advance notice on this. I don't know who knew first between Rob and me because Rob had Sam Register's ear, and but I was in a session with a well-known.
Spielberg called me at home, but
did he? Okay, about a year before we were even formally approached. It was June of 2000. That year was 2016, and it was June, and I was in a session doing a very popular show with an extremely popular showrunner, and that showrunner told me he'd taken a meeting to talk about show running a reboot of Animaniacs. And I don't want to drop his name because he actually decided that it wasn't the right fit for him, but he's an immensely popular showrunner. And so he said, get ready because I think they're thinking of bringing it back. I said, you're freaking kidding me. Oh my God.
We were the last ones to know.
Yeah. Yeah, in some ways we were. It didn't become official. The official ask didn't come until 2017, where they started.
Well, they were hiring writers. They were hiring showrunners, and before they really spoke to us about it.
Yeah,
at least to me.
Tress, what was that call like? Mike, you said you got Steven Spielberg himself called you at your home.
Well, of course, I was being facetious because he just dropped by. But
Tress, don't you generally pick Steven up when you guys go to your Learning Annex?
Yeah. Well, we're going to the Kumon Center because we decided that we would try to tackle algebra again, just for fun. During COVID, it's time to get your skills back up.
Everybody should have a hobby.
Yeah, it's good for the brain. But I don't recall exactly how I found out about it. I mean, we did have our wonderful dinner with Sam, and we were kind of hoping that that's what the meeting was about. But I really thought it was about maybe the musical aspect of what Rob and Randy were doing. They were putting on this musical show, Animaniacs Live, and I think that I thought that Sam just wanted to get together with us to talk about that.
Yeah.
And so we came away. I know that Jess and I talked in the parking lot, and we were saying, "What? Do you think maybe? Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know." And we didn't want to count any chickens. Because we weren't sure, and so we left the meeting. At least I did, thinking, well, that was a very nice dinner, and it's like a nice date, But I wasn't certain of anything at that point, but I was ready to go. We've been working at this. Right now. For a long time, and in no small part, thanks to Rob and Jess and Mo for going out on the road. I did not do that as much, and they kept the show alive, and they kept the fans engaged and interested, and I felt like they were being taken care of, and so it was nice for me to be able to just kind of like step in.
No, that's a great point, Tress. The characters stayed relevant throughout this whole time, not only because of fans, but because,
they never went away.
YouTube videos would come back, they'd resurface. Rob, you did like the re-version of the Countries of the World. You know what I mean? Things like that just like blew up. And so you could tell like, oh my gosh, people loved this show and want to see it return. Jess, talk a little bit about, again, being on the road, but then finding out the show itself was coming back.
Well, for my experience, man, I just heard somebody wanted to buy me a nice dinner, so my answer was yeah.
Exactly. That's weird.
I was in right there, but we sort of had a vibe, when they said, oh, they're going to be taking you guys out for dinner in a private room at a very nice restaurant. I thought, well, either it's extortion or they're going to bring back the show. And fortunately, it turned out to be the latter. What I'll always remember about it, though, and it kind of alludes to what you said earlier, Mike, about being inordinately blessed. The four of us have, done this show that meant so much to so many, including us, right? But we've managed to sustain the work since then. We've all worked on so many things. And, we'd see each other on different shows. We'd work on this together, two of us, and then three of us would do this, and another two would do that, or whatever. And when we stood there after the dinner on the patio of Morton's restaurant, right underneath the shadow of the water tower, as Rob always says, and that's so beautifully put, we said, wouldn't this be great? It would be great. But we don't, living in Hollywood as long as we all have, you don't put too much stock in what might happen.
Sure.
Because everything might happen and most things don't. So we walked away feeling elevated, as we always do when we get to be together, and we were so happy to be together and in the same room and laughing and having fun. And then 2.5 years later or something like that, we showed up.
It was a long time.
For real.
Hold my breath.
Did the first episode, and to button the whole thing for you, all I can say is, circling back to what Rob said when he answered, it's a rare opportunity to have a difference, to have the opportunity to make a really positive difference in people's lives with something once. Yeah. To get that opportunity to do it again with the same thing is an unbelievable gift, and we all are really grateful for it.
Yeah.
That's Amen. So awesome.
By the way, Mo sent me a text. Apparently the brain is having now he's a bloody genius.
The brain can't work the internet, man. What happened?
He's trying to get back in.
People in the chat lost their minds.
I think we've heard enough, really.
Maybe he's the smartest. He's working on his plot right now. You know what I mean? To take over
the Zoom.
To take over the Zoom. We got to give him a hard time.
Yeah.
We will have to give him a hard time when he comes back in here.
We always
yeah. I just want to go. I mean, I remember when there was a lot of news up front. You see it online. Oh, it's getting rebooted. It's getting rebooted. It's getting rebooted, and you immediately have that fear or apprehension of like, oh, don't ruin it. It was such a beautiful moment of child. And then when that Jurassic Park parody trailer came out, I was like, everyone was blown away and like, oh my gosh, we're like, the correct humor is back. You know what I mean? The heart is back. The parodies are back. All the actors are back. You know what I mean? And that's what really, I think, sold it for a lot of fans. We were not worried.
We really had to trust that when they said that they were going to, they weren't going to change a whole lot, but they were just going to freshen things up and make it sparkly and new. And so we really had to trust that the sensibilities would be the same in a very, very different time. Not that the 90s were a super innocent age, but we talked about different things. And I was hoping that we wouldn't be talking about everything that there is to talk about in a cartoon, because that's just not fun enough. But so we really lucked out because our production team, our writers, we love it. Hey, Mo's back.
Maurice is back, everybody.
Yeah, we really did luck out because...
Can't hear you, brain genius. There you are, you.
That was a journey. Anyway, I'm sorry. I see Tress is still talking.
Yeah. I had an Adobe update in the middle of mine. I don't know if you saw
We were just talking about what it was like to work with Maurice Lamarche. No. I'm just discussing about...
That's a mini series right there.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Basically, Mike, to paraphrase what Tress was saying, in my words, what I always say is it's the characters and the look and everything like that, a little updated, but it's the characters that you love, just with a whole bunch of new stuff to make fun of. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's very cool.
Maurice, we were just talking about how they've done, and you guys mentioned this Wesley Wild done such a fantastic job as showrunner. You know what I mean? Again, bringing back the heart of the original series, the style.
Oh, we love him.
Yeah, the style and everything, and that's what we were just reflecting on. Maurice was sort of that. It feels like we never skipped a beat. You know, when you like haven't seen a friend for a long time, and then you see them, and it's like, oh, there's no way that we've not seen each other for 15 years. That's what it's felt like with the series.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Well, that's really true, and Wellesley has done an amazing job. Wellesley and Gabe and the whole crew have done an amazing job. I would be remiss in not taking my hat off to Tom Ruger and Peter Hastings and the original crew for laying the pipe and the groundwork. The big, just so much love to them. And this is the way the way we're doing it now. It's a little different, and I have to admit I was initially a little skeptical. I'll say it. I thought, gosh, Brain's a little meaner than he is. Are the viewers than he was in the 90s? Are the viewers going to? I'm crankier too. Believe me, if you had my prostate, you would be as well. Hey now.
Dodge that bullet.
But it fits. It fits with the ethos of the fact that the Brain has been trying to take over the world for 22 years, and he still hasn't succeeded. Now he's finally willing to use a laser beam.
It's a good point.
So
that's a credit to the show. Yeah, I mean the show acknowledges that sort of meta surrealism of we are acknowledging the fact that we were gone and we're back and the society has changed and here's how we interpret that now. You know what I mean? The characters say it out loud, which I think is a brilliant move.
Wellesley's a genius, and
yeah.
You know what? One of my favorite ways to sum up Animaniacs is Animaniacs was originally sold to the world and to the networks as a kids cartoon show, and I'm like, it was actually a Trojan horse disguised as a kids cartoon show because it's a Broadway musical satire of current events masquerading as a cartoon show, and it still is, in the best of ways.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about
it.
Cool.
It's for everyone, and now even more so, you're getting generations showing previous generations and going back. So good.
My favorite.
And now that there's homeschooling, Rob,
Rob's being homeschooled.
Yeah.
We just put little Rob in front of an episode, and
lots of educational stuff.
Right.
Lots of knowledge to impart.
Oh yeah,
lots of book learning happening
all over the place.
Yep, lots of book learning.
Those goldfish,
liquid goldfish. We talked about, obviously, the main characters are back, right? Yakko, Wakko, Dot, Pinky, and the Brain. But we don't see everyone else. And I know, and so one of the questions from Cheek 732. Yeah, well, there's that funny episode with the hunter, and I was like, oh, God, this got dark really fast. Because now I'm like, all of those characters were hunted. That's what happened. So just a hilarious sort of way. But was there, Cheek 732 was asking, were there any characters, because a lot of you did voices of other characters. Are there original characters that you would love to see back or wish to see back or hope come back? I know we get Ralph, the classic.
No.
I wouldn't mind doing Michelangelo again.
I'm just kidding.
I love him.
I like Miss
I love the vocal strain he gives.
I think that she was.
We still like painting naked people. We paint them. We literally like to paint naked people.
Well, Hello Nurse is not going to come back, I don't think.
What's that?
Hello Nurse is not.
No, I don't think so. And I understand, like Tress said earlier, I think times have changed. Things have changed.
Yeah.
That's what makes, in my view, the success of the show. That's a very tenuous line for Wellesley and Gabe and their crew to walk. How do we make this thing hip, not condescend in the tradition of the original show, to take the genius that Tom and his crew put into it, freshen it up, still make it edgy but not offensive? It's a very tough line, which they
not all wokey woke either.
Yeah, I mean, not be patronizing, pandering, and it's pretty ballsy.
Or condescending, Rob? You know what condescending means, don't you?
I'm sorry, Tress, condescending. That means I talk down to. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's that. No, but you know what? Maybe the end game for the guys, because it's like, as great as those characters all were, maybe their vision of Animaniacs is to have it go for several more seasons, and as those seasons develop,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, they may bring it back. It's not to say that they.
Nothing.
Yeah.
The table, I would assume, that. Why not?
Slappy seems to be very popular. People mention Slappy World a lot.
Yeah, Slappy would be great. People want Romy, Pinky Suavo.
And the Good Feathers.
Yeah,
the Good Feathers is huge.
Yeah,
I would love to. I'd love to work with.
I love them too.
Maurice,
again.
You were Bobby, right, Mo?
I was Squid. I was the Ray Liotta pigeon. Even though I do a decent De Niro, John Mariano does it better, and I would love to see that. But we just, as you say, Rob, we don't write them, we don't draw them, we just act them, and it's up to the powers that be. But those would be fun ones to bring back.
Sure.
But you can bet that the powers that be, and I think Tress even touched on this earlier. Part of the reason that I finally believe is true that the show is back is because we've kind of been out there all, chumming the waters. And remember, the folks in charge now are your age, Mike. And so they're used to having social media, paying attention to metrics that Mo referenced earlier. So they pay attention. And if you got a couple 100,000 people saying, we love this particular character, it is noticed. It totally is.
There's one more character I really hope comes back. Oh, my PT pajamas, I loved him so. Give me the bird. Where the hell else are you going to hear a Richard Burton impression?
Yeah. You turkey. I'm sorry, Richard Hill.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's too bad because a lot of those prototypes, are people don't know who they are anymore.
Exactly, which is what's great because then they become new again.
Your voices, yeah.
Yeah. You don't know who Richard Burton is, that's fine. People going, that's Miles Standish. Wait a second, I'm watching Camelot and that Miles Standish is in it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a credit to you all as actors and performers, just the range of your voices and being able to apply it to anybody. I love that they've been that this new season tacked on some new bits, some new sketches at the end of some of the episodes, so we're getting a little taste of what could be like just new creativity, you know what I mean? Like new characters, forget old characters. I would love to hear you all do a brand new set of wacky, wacky folks and see the hijinks that they get into, you know what I mean?
But that isn't us at the end, right?
No. Yeah. It's like brand new things, but it's
actors. Yeah.
But that's great too. It's a whole new generation of voice actors.
That was a surprise to me because I didn't know that that was going to happen. And so when I saw the new shows for the first time, it was like, whoa, what's this?
Oh, who's that?
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I was totally surprised.
It's kind of fun. It's almost like they're like it's like a test audience. You know what I mean? You get your traditional, and then they're like, do you like this?
Yeah, it was like a treat. It was like, what's this? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, everything,
cool.
The whole, it's a hackneyed phrase, but the whole paradigm with respect to how we all consume entertainment has changed.
Yeah.
And now you don't have a 22-minute show with 8 minutes set aside for commercials because the streaming platforms are not beholden to the serial makers, and that's okay either way. But now when you get a half-hour show, it's 30 minutes. And you're getting a lot more bang for your buck.
Unless it's 31 minutes because it needed to be.
Because
that's the beauty of that.
Exactly. So it's great for exactly what you're talking about, Mike, because now creators have an extra, 12, 13% of time to play with and say, let's try stuff out. These are bits that would have been axed before because you have to stick in that specific 22-minute parameter. So it's a very wonderful time to be a creator and an audience member. It really is.
Yeah.
It was a breath of fresh air in 2020 for sure to see it on screen. So we thank all the showrunners. Yeah, I want to get to some a more technical question about sort of voice acting from @BrandC. Question of person watching. This goes back. You said it was a joy not only to create these characters once, but then to bring them back. Obviously, all these characters were created from scratch. You created them
from scratch and sniff.
From scratch and sniff.
Yeah, they were all conceived by scratch and sniff, and Tress can attest to that. So thank you so much.
You originated these characters, which doesn't often happen. There's so many rebooted characters or returns of characters or legacies of characters. Were any mannerisms that you did when recording, both originally and then coming back, did they end up animating in your characters? Does any of you have any specific sort of knowledge of your performances kind of leading into the animation?
Well, they always do. Yeah. They always do. I mean, when you're first starting on a cartoon, this is my opinion, but I think maybe the fellows will agree, is, you start off doing what, you're told and what you think the producers want, and the writers eventually get to know you and your sensibilities and your sense of humor and your strengths and the impressions that you do and your sense of humor, and so they start to write to that, and so pretty soon there is the line between the character and the actor is totally gone. And so it's always kind of a joy to know that the producers will let you kind of do what you want with a character because it is you.
Yeah, it becomes you. They just naturally sort of grow into more and more of who you are and what you do. Tress said it very beautifully. And it's like what's really fun is if you compare, I've noticed some things on YouTube where they have voice evolutions of things that we've been involved in individually and collectively, where they show it where it started and where it ended up, and you're not even aware of it happening, But like these little things. I mean, when you said mannerisms, I was thinking, well, I guess Wakko never grew his hair long and wore pants with rhinestones on him, so he's not just like me visually. The little things that you do, like for instance. When we started, Wakko would just be talking like Wakko, like this. And then once upon a time, I went, I never get to get it. And he kind of went down into this other kind of, I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden, they started writing more with that kind of thing that I just threw out there. And that happens for all of us all the time. And it's a very cool thing,
It is. I have that happened. The first go around, I don't even know when it happened. There was a line where Yakko was deciding something. And
I don't think so.
and they
get longer.
And
all the time.
When it like Tress said, when it works and it works the way it's supposed to, and the four lucky people you see before you today have had way more than our share of having it work. It is seamless. And then when they start, the writers start writing for us, that's why you get something that becomes timeless, because it just seems utterly authentic. But also in this particular circumstance, remember the kids, and I mean that respectfully, the kids who are writing for the new episodes have a pretty clear idea of what these four characters are about.
Yeah.
They all know Yakko, Wakko, and Dot, and Pinky and the Brain. So it was fascinating to have them write stuff that was from their perspective and their context and growing up and watching these characters. And they were, it was fun for them to plug into, I think so, Brain, but we've heard 100 of them. And what was really interesting is the times that I would look at Mo or Tress or Jess and say, ultimately look through the glass at the writers and say, I don't know who the hell Leroy Jenkins is. And why are people making a big deal of Leroy Jenkins? So they come out with technology that was not around the first time. Their phone and say, here's why Leroy Jenkins is funny.
Yeah.
It's incredible. That's what I mean. It goes back to how unique this whole circumstances.
You just set off the chat with Leroy Jenkins. Now everyone's like shouting, Leroy Jenkins.
Look out. Look out.
Leroy Jenkins!
And people want Roman numeral back. That's all people are talking about right now is Romy and Leroy Jenkins.
Oh, Romy, yeah.
Yeah. Maurice, you mentioned this before, Richard Burton. Obviously, it's well known that Orson Welles is the inspiration behind the brain. So, I mean, you bring that on, and you can see it when you voice act, and it's so beautiful to see you sort of take on almost like you're doing an impression of that person that then lends itself to the voice. They must have like patterned some of the animation after you. My gosh, right?
Well, I don't know if they did. I found myself rather doing what I began to adopt a brain face whenever I do a brain, like I brain one eyebrow and just get very, jowly and sallow and serious. The thing that they may have taken from me though is what I took from Wells, because physically Brain's based on Tom Minton, who wrote on Tiny Toons and a couple of other shows at Hanna-Barbera with Tom Ruger, and he looks like the Brain, but I had never seen him. So I saw Orson Welles when I looked at the model sheet and did that. But Welles has a moment in the Frozen Peas outtake where he goes. They're trying to figure out where he went wrong and came off the picture of the frozen peas, and he goes, "Yes, always." And I took that yes. And there's a moment in Jip Parody, Win Big, where Alex Quebec, God rest his soul, asks a brain a question 3 times, and by the 3rd time he just goes, "Yes." And they go, "That's funny. Let's keep him always having to say yes with 3 Y's in front of it." So that may be something I did that they adapted to the character. But I more or less tried to look like Brain. Like I climb inside a Brain costume.
When you raise your eyebrow, Mo, as the Brain.
Yes, my friend. Are you pondering what I'm pondering?
No.
Well, and you all clearly love these characters, and I think that's where you could hear the joy in your voice. And I'm telling you, there was an added joy. You could hear it when in the first episode of the new season, everyone was so excited. I felt like I was getting all of my favorite friends and characters just with that amped up level of like, "We're back, everybody!" type of thing.
Well, Mike, you got to remember something. I tell this anecdote a few times, but it's a really cool story, man, that I just love. And that's that back, I think it was probably the early 2000s, I got approached one day. My agency called and they said, "Hey, listen, there's this very cool, very edgy kind of adult cartoon. You guys all know what it is, but we don't need to name names." And they want to do a thing where they're going to show what happened to the Animaniacs. Where are they now? And they want you guys to do the voices. And I said, "Oh, that'd be great. Send me the script." And they sent me the script. And I don't remember the exact details, but I remember that, Wakko was up in the water tower with an AK-47 and Yakko was lying in a gutter with a bottle of booze or something. And I went, "You know what? I don't want to do it." And they said, "Why? They're offering you good money and everything." I said, "Nah, you know what? Because I love Wakko. And I don't want to think that happened to him. I want to think that he's wherever he is, that he's happy and he's got a really clean bathroom and he's got lots of snacks and he's really happy and he's living his life and he's doing great." Right. So I said, "I'm going to pass." And later that day, my agent said, "Hey, by the way, just in case you're wondering, Rob and Tress passed too." And I didn't even touch base with them. I didn't even reach out to them and say, "Did you guys hear about this?" Yeah. And in talking about it later, we found that our reasons were the same, because we love these characters just like you guys do. And we wanted to see them treated with love,
That's all.
I, on the other hand, when the call came from that producer, I did do Brain. I was so desperate to do Brain again, and they showed Brain as like a real lab rat experiment. They give him crack, they give him meth, and he goes down to the bad side of town with Pinky, and It wasn't that I sold out. It wasn't. I don't know what financial offer you got. I did it for scale, but I just wanted to play Brain again, and I love that show creator so much. Yeah. We've just been anyway. It doesn't matter. We've gone through an experience together, so I came out and did it. And did I cringe a little bit when I watched it? I went, no. I hope Steven's not watching.
I never thought.
You know what?
Right? No, to the guys that did the other voices, were they good?
The guy that did Pinky did an okay job. You know,
Okay.
They only had it in the budget for one guest actor per show. Because I said, maybe Rob would have done this. Did you ask him? He said, we can't afford it. We can only do one guest
Nobody
actor.
can afford Rob.
What? Can afford scale?
Yeah, not an extra scale. They had one extra scale payment per episode. So maybe it's not the same show. You know,
It was not supposed to happen.
Tress, I want you to know that people were very nervous when you left, more so than when Maurice left, and people said, and people were like, "Our queen is back when you return." So,
Of course, they.
I wasn't sure if it was just me. I don't know what happened. I can't explain it.
We're nothing without you.
all good.
Oh, that's
Exactly
nice.
right.
I don't know what happened. Anyway, I apologize.
No, you're all good.
All right.
We only lost you for a little bit. We're talking a lot about parody and sort of how parody is played way differently today than before because you have that instant access to, the internet and things. At Jenny Butler wants to know, this is for all of you. I'd like to start by saying you're all amazing. Such a big fan. My question is, if you had to pick one particular piece of media, TV, film, music to parody in an upcoming season, what would you like to sort of see happen? Is there anything that you'd be interested in parodying? I know.
Particular movie or a song or a TV show?
Yeah, they kept it pretty open. Yeah, really.
Well, I'm thinking.
Go ahead, Tress.
No. You probably know what to say.
Right off the top of my head. When I heard that, yes, that's true. When I heard that this reboot was going to happen, my first thought was, let's get the Kardashians. That was my first thought.
They probably do the show.
I'm still waiting because basically the Kardashians, I look at them, God bless them, but as a parody of themselves. So I would love for the Animaniacs to meet the Kardashians. I think that.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen now.
Yeah, maybe not.
That's right. They're Kanye and.
Yeah.
Their show is not.
They always make little Kardashians and Jenners.
That's true. I know. There seems to be an endless supply.
I would really like to revisit because of the huge explosion of conventions. I would love to revisit the Please, Please, Please Get a Life Foundation.
Oh, yes.
I really would, because I know that when that cartoon was made, the folks who inspired it and whom we lampooned loved it.
They loved it.
They brought a bunch of folks out. Warner Brothers brought a bunch of them out to show it to them, and like they had a contest. It was great.
I'm glad to hear that because that always upset me, and maybe that's the difference between a female and a male sense of humor.
Yeah, and I understand why.
Because I thought that it was.
Well, I have to tell you,
impolite, rude to a certain segment of our fans.
Well, and I understand your point. It was certainly a concern.
Like biting the hand that feeds you.
I'm sorry?
It's like biting the hand that feeds you.
Except that in this case, like, for instance, we open Animaniacs in concert with the Please, Please, Please Get a Life Foundation cartoon. And the audience, it just primes them. Yeah. They love it because they say, oh my God, that was totally me. It's totally all of us in some way. Sports, internet,
music.
We're all geeks or nerds in some way. And that was the metaphor. And so now with the explosion of conventions that were, a small thing back then, but now, Jesus, Murphy, when we're not doing COVID con, every weekend, if you're able, you could go to a pretty good sized convention every weekend somewhere around the world. So I would like to see some more of that going on, but I don't know. I just trust them. They're so kooky, the writers, and it's just fun to see what they come up with.
It's because cons have become pop culture for sure. You know what I mean? They're not like this sort of exclusive thing anymore. Everyone knows about them. Every fandom has them. You know what I mean?
While you mentioned con, I got to say, and I know I speak on behalf of all of us, Mike, we have been so fortunate to go to so many, and we've met so many of you folks watching right now. We miss you. We are sending you love. We're all getting through this craziness together, and one of these days soon we'll be back out there and we can say hi and shake your hands and hug you and say thank you again. We're really looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, that's the best part.
I know. Really, truly
meeting the fans and, just for those, 2 or 3 minutes that you're able to speak to them, sometimes it's longer, but it's so intense and so rewarding and so fun, and everyone's so happy to be there, and it's such a great atmosphere, to be in a happy group, people.
I want to meet you.
And those conventions are great because it's just one big love fest.
It is.
Yeah.
It's utterly inclusive as well. It is
Yeah.
absolutely
All different types.
how
Everybody.
we would like to live our lives. In my view, a convention or a pop culture convention is precisely the way in which we would hope to live, where nobody is looked askance because
It's United Nations.
because they're a little nervous, or people who say, "Oh, if you want to, you need some help finding the restroom, please hold my place. I've got my young friend here who's on the autism spectrum, and I'm going to help him go outside and take a little medication to, hopefully, because he really wants to stand in line. He really wants to meet Kevin Conroy. And this experience for this young man is so difficult, but he's willing to go through it because he's got to meet Kevin. But the people who don't cast aspersions at that young man, they help him get through his circumstance so that he can fulfill that dream. And everybody is there to help each other. It's just the most remarkable thing. Yeah. And none of us can get enough of it. It's incredible.
It's cool.
And no judgment on sex or race or you know what I mean, like financial. It's just everyone's just hanging out together. If you're a nerd, you're a nerd. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Who you're.
A lot of times you can't tell.
No, yeah, and that's the beauty of it.
There's a lot of cosplay.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Which is very fun too. That's increased over the years.
Oh my God!
People, getting full costume and full character, and they're as much the show as we are often.
Yeah.
And I've said this
not necessary totally. I mean, you don't feel obligated to do that, but it's an awful fun.
We've all talked about this, but the stories people tell us about how the characters in which we've had a part creating really, literally got them through sometimes life-threatening emotional emergency, whatever. And the recurring theme to me, Mike, is that we go home from every one of these events utterly exhausted from saying thank you for 3 solid days. Right. It is never not overwhelmingly kind. And I'm so proud to be part of this whole vibe. It's incredible.
Well, and I hope you all 4 know that despite the physical distance that we have right now and sort of this digital means, you're affecting, again, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people right now. And we have seen an outpouring of gratitude and thanks from people in countries that don't have conventions or cities that don't have conventions or they can't afford conventions or they have a physical disability that doesn't allow them to go to conventions. And so you are giving, and we're all in this shared unique experience of quarantine right now. So we're all stuck in our situations. And so what you're doing right now, even though you can't see that person in that line and the people coming up, is happening right now in the chat. And
thanks to Wizard World. Yeah. Thanks to you guys.
Thanks, Wizard World.
Thank you, Wizard World.
By itself. This is really great for you to do this for us. And my brain told me many times that I infect people. Thank you.
Well, and this is a reminder to the fans. Again, for those actors on the call that are participating, head to the Wizard World Vault. Not only can you purchase those one-on-one chats, video recorded messages, those amazing autographs with all the cast, but you can also support our artists and vendors. They've been out of a lot of work in the physical convention space, and we have a bunch of them online. It's our best attempt at a convention floor. So, Mike. Yeah, head to the Wizard World Vault there. Y'all, we are almost out of time. This has been such a joy and a treat. I want to can we do a couple rapid fire questions. Ari Waifu wants to know, have you ever cosplayed? We talked about cosplay. Have you ever cosplayed as your character? Anyone ever cosplayed?
This is my cosplay. This is it.
I kind of, sort of. Rob and I hosted the Annie Awards, and I actually had a brain costume that I bought from the old Warner Brothers studio stores, and I came out on stage in the costume to do the first Pinky and the Brain sketch, and I felt like a complete idiot.
You were adorable.
That's the only time I've ever
You're
cosplayed.
like popping fresh that smells funny.
I tried to.
I didn't get to answer the last question, by the way.
Huh?
What, Tressa?
I
Go
didn't get to
ahead.
answer the last question. What would I parody? I'd want to do Curb Your Brain Enthusiasm. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
I like that.
Let's do
Maurice.
some more Dot, please.
I like that.
Well, I
Maurice.
was going to say that I try to be cute every day.
Yeah.
Most of the time I end up looking more like the cat lady.
Oh, Tress, you just broke the chat with that.
Oh, no.
You just broke the chat. All right. From at Dia MER, you guys are incredible. I want to thank Rob and Jess for the messages I got over the holidays. They made me cry. If you could describe your Animaniacs character in one word, what would it be? Jess.
Wakko.
Wakko.
Zany.
Zany.
Perfect.
Do you say perfect?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Curmudgeonly. Yeah.
Oh, curmudgeonly. Curmudgeonly.
And then on the other character, Narfy. I'm Narfy. And infectious.
Yes.
I want to go around the room one time. A bunch of fans, we've been talking a lot about Animaniacs, obviously, and all of our favorite works with you. But a lot of fans also, Cynthia Woods, Girl with the Cello, all asked about just how you are, what you have coming up. Said such a big fan of all of your work. Apart from voice acting, what do you find interest or joy in?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love to cook.
I love
Seriously.
making.
Love cooking.
Cooking from Maurice. Nice.
I love making music and making a positive difference to as many people as I can. That makes me happy.
That's awesome.
I am looking forward to my latest parole hearing, and I'm very.
I'll be there.
This time.
Me too, buddy. Me too. This is the one.
I like
Right.
hockey, football, and cars and motorcycles. I'm a total gearhead, and so I put on my little mask and go blasting up the California coast, and I'm very happy. But not as happy as I am right now with these folks and you folks out there. Ain't nothing better than this. It's the greatest.
So good. So good.
I love my husband and my family and the great outdoors.
And you're beautiful. Oh my God, she looks so great, honey.
Yes.
Aw,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, you look great.
We love you.
Tell all the fans, I want to go around the room one more time. We'll start with Jess. Tell all the fans out there again what we can look forward to hearing or seeing you in, what projects you have coming up, any sort of final shout outs to the fans, and then we'll kind of wrap on that. Jess, why don't you kick us off? We'll go in the order.
Well, most importantly is that shout out. Thank you guys so very much for taking time out of your day to hang out with us. We love you. We appreciate you. We miss you. If you want to have another laugh that's more musically oriented, I'm in this band called Rock Sugar where we basically mash up like 80s metal songs with pop songs and turn them into a new song. You got to kind of hear it to believe it. But if you go to YouTube right now, we got a brand new video that you can look at, Rock Sugar Shout. Just put in those keywords. It's got people like Mark Hamill and a couple of my friends here are with us as well. And there's a lot of people that you guys are going to love in that video. And if you want to get the first song on the new album totally free, go to saverocksugar.com and you can download the first song on our second album for free. We'd love for you to hear it. Thank you.
Rock Sugar. Awesome. Maurice?
We just dropped the next season, the third season of Disenchantment on Netflix yesterday. So
good.
Tune in and binge that. I don't have a band, but my son does. So follow We Are the Similar.
We Are the Similar.
On all the platforms. We Are the Similar with Jonathan Lamarche, Marcus Grimmie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and congrats on Disenchantment. I know another fan favorite. I know Tress, we're excited to hear you as well in that. So.
Yes.
Rob, take it away.
I am very excited for you folks to see the second season this year of Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain.
Yes.
If you like the first one, kids, it's you will love it. I don't know when it's coming out this year, but it can't come soon enough. You're going to love it.
That's great.
For those of you who are so inclined, you can follow me on Twitter at Yakko Pinky, all lowercase, one word. Instagram, Rob_Paulsen, Paulsen. TikTok, Rob Paulsen 311, because Rob Paulsen was already taken.
What? Really?
Yeah, I know. And Carl is working for next Christmas on his own cartoon version of Handel's Messiah.
I can hardly wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be. You're gonna think to yourself, Jesus, that's wild. That's what I mean. Jesus, that's pretty weird.
Don't joke about Carl Weathers, Rob. Don't joke about Carl Weathers, Rob. Carl Weezer, sorry, Carl Weezer.
Carl Weathers, I'll kick his ass.
Hey, what would Mandalorian be like with Carl Weezer instead of Carl Weathers? There's a bit.
I can't even say
Mandalorian is that little show that's right behind us on Hulu.
You might have heard of it.
Nice.
Tressa, what do you got coming up?
I love Jimmy.
Well, you know, I'm hoping that the sun will come out and that we can all leave our homes and that I can hop in my bitching car and go from session to session, working on the wonderful cartoons that we do. And I'm very excited about the new Disenchantment. I'm looking forward to hearing about another season of Animaniacs, you know, because
nice.
we haven't heard of anything, but, you know, I'm keeping my fingers crossed about that. And other shows that are maybe going to be coming back. And then I'm continuing
there you go.
with my Disney stuff. So life is good, but could be a little bit better if we could move freely about the cabin.
Tress, what are your social media handles?
I have none.
That's right. So if any of you folks out there are following anyone claiming to be Tress MacNeille, they are fake. Drop them and report them. There is no Tress MacNeille on social media.
And you can always get a message to me through Rob.
Yes.
There you go.
Or me.
Easy.
Seriously.
Every one of you.
Yeah.
Be person with all of your messages for Tress.
And if you want to mail
He's
me,
got nothing going on. He's a clearinghouse.
you can go through, you know, the particular show. Just send them to the shows.
Yeah.
And the shows will get them to me.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of great. Sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
Questions, right? Just with one word answers. If I was Tress, Jim from Chicago. No tramp stamp. Larry.
These are the FAQs.
Larry from Tampa. Twice on Thursday, but only after 2 margaritas. Last question for the Daughters of the Confederacy down in Shelby, North Carolina.
Good.
Usually in the context of a Union soldier.
Okay.
Tress, you may regret this. You may ultimately regret having fans. But speaking of fan sites, there's a ton of fan sites out there for the Animaniacs, and these five fan sites did a ton of work promoting this event today. And my gosh, the fans turned out at Wakko Kinney, at Ribbentrup, at Yakko Bits, at Animaniacast, and at cartoons.outofcontext.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout out.
Thanks for all the plugs.
Yeah, and on behalf of Wizard World, my name is Mike G. I've been your moderator for today.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, Mike. You've done a fantastic job, man.
Thanks,
Great job, buddy.
You actually watch the show, don't you?
Yes, well, I mean, many times.
It's lovely to have that. Thank you.
Oh my gosh! And if you haven't watched the show, how dare you being here in the chat right now? No, go to Hulu. You can binge the entire first season of the Reboot now. I've been watching the originals too. Oh my gosh, so good. And continue to follow us at Wizard World. We have an amazing lineup tomorrow. We've got the cast from Little House on the Prairie joining us.
What? Wow.
Yeah, including Melissa Gilbert herself will be here tomorrow. So come back.
Allison Arngrim? Is Allison Arngrim going to be on there?
I don't have the full list in front of me right now, but we've got a majority of the cast members, over 10 of them joining us tomorrow. So that's going to be
a little piece of cartoon trivia. Allison Arngrim's mother was the voice of Sweet Polly Purebred.
What?
Oh.
Underdog?
Yeah. And Melissa Gilbert was Batgirl. So there we go. There's another voice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. We remember working with her.
Yeah, so good, so good. But this has been such a joy, such a treat, such an honor. Speak on behalf of all the fans watching, just say thank you. I did watch the show, Maurice, many times and such a huge fan. So this is legendary for me as well. So I appreciate you hanging out with us.
Thank you all so much.
all those one-on-one experiences at Wizard World Vault. This is it. Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy weekend. Please give a big round of emojis to Jess Harnell, Rob Paulsen, Maurice, Lamarche, and Tress MacNeille.
We love you.
Bye, everybody.
And await further orders as I take over the world.
This is John Glover, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Lionel Luther recommends it. Have some fun. Follow your fandom.